You can share your screen, yes?
Let me
If
check.
you want, you can start. Yeah, we are ready.
I can start. Okay, so
Yeah.
let me start with sharing my screen.
Yes, you can start. You can do it.
It will work.
هلا بيسار.
السلام عليكم.
هلا بيسار.
كيف
أهلا وسهلا بالجميع.
Hello, can
Hi.
you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, do you see full screen now?
Yeah.
On the normal presentation mode, perfect.
Aline Hospital, yeah.
Okay, great. So thank you thank you for having me, and thank you for the opportunity. Just to do short introduction of myself. So my name is Ari Melamed Yekel. I'm the Deputy Director General of Arlene Hospital. I'm an engineer by profession. Was in the high-tech industry for over 2 decades. 6 years ago, I joined the Arlene Hospital, and I'm leading in the hospital research and innovation and strategy. That's my domain, the domain that I own. And I want to talk to you in the coming, 45, 50 minutes. I want to talk to you about my favorable subject, which is how it starts. And the claim I have, and that's my philosophy and claim and whatever, is that it's always have to start with an unmet need. Because if it doesn't start with an unmet need, we are shooting to the wrong direction. You have to forgive me. My daughter is calling me again and again, and I'm afraid that something happened. So excuse me. I never do that in the middle of presentation.
Sure.
But if it's just a second. Oh my God.
جعفر، في تغيير على البروجرام شيء حسب آخر اكسل شيت؟
لا امجد. هلا احنا عندنا
مسجل بزوم كل بصدر.
راح ابعث لكم انا ان شاء الله بكره. احنا عندنا لقاء يوم الاربعاء امجاد، وللجميع انا بحكي كانكيبيشن هلا وليدرشيب. الاسبوع القادم طبعا بس للانكيبيشن راح ابعث لكم تفصيل برنامج شهر 9 كامل جاهز عندنا. راح ابعث لكم، راح يكون عندنا لقاءات
أنا قصدي
مع
اليوم حسب الإكسل شيت لازم ميشيل.
نعم. لانه كان عندنا احنا غيرنا مع دان، احنا قعدنا معاه بشيبه فصار في تغيير بسيط.
خير إن شاء الله.
ما
طبعا الاربعه نفس الشيء امجد، ما في تغيير في البرنامج. يوم الاربعاء ما في تغيير. احنا برنامج شهر 9 جاهز البرنامج، راح ابعث لكم اياه كمان بالتفصيل. طبعا انا هون بحكي للانكيوبيشن بروجرام. الليدرشيب برضه اهلا وسهلا، اذا بحبوا يحضروا كمان اهلا وسهلا. لكن راح يكون كاستمايز اكثر للانكيوبيشن. راح يكون عندنا سيشنز لها علاقه بالموضوع الليجل، موضوع اللو، موضوع البرزنتيشن سكيلز، وقسم كبير منهم راح يكونوا منتورز موجودين معكم. كيف ابو يسار؟
وهذه اللي حكيتها عن سبتمبر، شهر 9
سبتمبر. نعم.
والأربعة كمان بنكمل مشترك.
نعم.
ليدرشيب.
نعم.
اريا طب ميوت.
بيوت. رن عليه شكله مش سامع أبو يسار، دقيقة واحدة.
ايوه فتح عادي اريا.
اوكي
Okay, now
Yeah.
we're good, right?
Yeah.
So, a few words about what's going on here. Okay, a few words about Aline Hospital and the background because it gives you some understanding of what happens. So Aline Hospital exists over 90 years. Aline Hospital is the only pediatric rehabilitation hospital in Israel, and we see on a daily basis over 250 patients. We have we have 110 inpatient beds. We have over 100 children that we see outpatients, and again, overall, a lot of experience. We have in the hospital innovation space or innovation organization, innovation system that drives innovation, and we have a very tight collaboration between three units, one or between three domains in the hospital. One is our innovation unit, second is our researchers, and the third one is our clinical team. And that tight relationship actually what makes Aline different from many other organizations that you most likely saw. Now, in that scope, what we see is like it's the benefit of being small. Usually, when you are large, you have benefits of scale. In our case, the benefit is the tight relationship, the ability to collaborate, and the tight work between the three arms. But innovation, in my view, is very interesting, but I can tell you about myself, and I'm sure that many engineers, when they will look at the mirror, they will tell you the real truth that I know that I spent many years of my life inventing amazing solutions for problems that doesn't exist. And which means you become in love in technology, you become in love in ideas, you become in love in things that looks very innovative, looks very, very attractive, but actually it doesn't address an unmet need. So my first call to you is you have always, when you're going to to drive innovation anywhere in your organization, out of your organization, you have to focus, first of all, on trying to understand what is the unmet need of this organization. If somebody comes to you with any solution, think of what is the unmet need, if there is an unmet need. So who can come with an unmet need? Everyone. It can be the patients, it can be clinicians, it can be families, it can be educators, it can be administrators. Anyone can come with an unmet need. And the most important component of the first stage is to understand and be sharp on what is the unmet need. So let's assume that you found an unmet need, or you were lucky enough to identify an unmet need. And again, identifying an unmet need, I'm telling you again, it's key. And I will repeat it many times during this talk. It's key. So you have identified an unmet need, and you have several options like on the table. You can either to find an existing off-the-shelf product. You can think of customization or localize an off-the-shelf product if you can't find something that is really tailor-made to your specific unmet need. You can decide that you go to develop something in-house. And you can also think about, no, I'm not a real R&D organization, so maybe I can do some co-development. In the coming, I would say, 40 minutes, we'll try to just think about each one of these options. What are the key ingredients that important in order to make them successful? How do we address them in our organization in the Lean Hospital? And what is my experience during my career on how we are addressing that? So you have, imagine again, you have an unmet need in your head, and you think that you found there is an off-the-shelf product. So is that enough? What do you think? The answer is no, right? I saw that some of you already nudged their head. The answer is absolutely no. Why the answer is absolutely no? Because there are so many amazing products that are addressing an unmet need, but they have not gone through a simulation process in your organization or a simulation process in the organization that's supposed to adapt the product. And once that happens, then it joins the amazing products that are on the shelf. Nobody is using them, not because they are not addressing the unmet need, it's only because that they have not been through a structured process of assimilation. And when I'm saying a structured process of assimilation, there are some ingredients that have to be considered. First of all, you as an innovation leader, you as the one that is initiating something, you have to be aware that you are a vendor for a customer, and your customers are the one that needs that product. That the product is addressing the unmet need, and your approach is supposed to be a customer-centric approach. Now, again, I've been taught during my career that if a customer tells me jump, I'm not asking why, I'm asking how high. And that's your approach should be. You should be always focused on what your internal customer or your the one that requires that unmet needs or the solution, what he wants. Now, in many cases, we tend to understand, we meaning the technology people, and I know that you are physicians and you are health professionals, but in many cases, the technology guys, yeah, I see that some of the tech guys are smiling. In some cases, technology guys are, they believe that they understand the unmet need. And I'm telling you again, don't believe in any unmet need that did not include the customer as part that identified that unmet need. So if the decision on the unmet need was done not by a group that included the customer, you will have a problem. So insist that the customer will be part of the definition of the unmet need and of the definition of what is needed. Then you have to have a champion. You have to have a champion within the customer organization. And again, I'm telling customers, your internal customers, not necessarily, it's not a real customer. We're not a commercial organization here, but you have to have a champion. Champion is somebody that the desire to have solution burns in their bones. It's something that they feel. They will not go to sleep before they see a solution. If you don't have a champion within the customer organization, within the organization that you are targeting, within the unit, the department, whatever, it will not be successful because everyone has their day job and everyone has their load of work. And if you come with something that is external and no internal champion can push it, you will not be successful. That's my experience anywhere I went. And any experience that I have without a champion was almost impossible to drive use of even off-the-shelf product. Again, we are not talking about development. We are talking about a product that is off the shelf. Another component is the availability of technical support. You are working in a world of professionals, health professionals are professionals that are overloaded always, and they do not have time to play with technology or to play with innovation that requires them to learn to do stuff that is not something that is intuitive, that is trivial. Why? Because they're busy, because they have to serve their patients, they have to work with their colleagues, they don't have time. And what is important that you know that you have somebody that supports the clinicians, that supports the therapists that you work with in order to implement, to assimilate the solution that you have found. Again, you found an off-the-shelf product. Make sure that you have a support that is dedicated to the solution that you developed, or that not developed, the solution that you found. And last but not least is to make sure that you are aligned with your customer. So you found a solution, perfect. Agree on the KPI. Agree of what will be considered as a success of assimilation of that new technology that you found off the shelf. So these are my tips in the case that you were very lucky and you found off-the-shelf product that can fit and can address the unmet need. In cases that you were less lucky, and you have to do customization or localization, then you are suffering, or you need to go through another stage. And the stage that I want to make sure that you're aware that you have to do is to do validation. You have to validate that whatever you have planned is addressing the unmet need. And once that ends, you have to go again through the process of assimilation. A process of assimilation is a long process, as we talked, but the process of validation is also a process that you have to allocate ample time and ample resources in order to do that validation. Now, in our hospital, we have a research center that includes 6 domains. Each domain is actually a group of researchers. And one of the subjects, or one of the tasks of these researchers, of these groups, is to validate technology that is required by the hospital. So if let's say we did some customization of existing product, we will ask these professionals to validate the usability, or to validate the efficacy, or to validate both of them. It can be either under Helsinki committee approval, or it can be just a straightforward pilot. But structured validation is crucial. And again, I urge you to follow it and to make sure that you're doing it. So there's no customized solution that is available, or you can't find an off-the-shelf product, and you cannot do customization, and you cannot do localization. What will be the next stage? Maybe do in-house development. So let's develop. I don't know what you have in mind when you're thinking about development. What my experience is, a hospital or a health organization is not an R&D organization. And in that term, the ability to develop in-house is something very, very challenging, to the extent that it's impossible, to my understanding, to develop a product in-house. Now, I want to distinguish between a solution and a product. If we were on a face-to-face meeting, I would ask you, okay, so what is a solution? But I will address the question of what is a solution and what's the difference between product and a solution. A solution usually is something that addresses an individual need, something that is very productization process. Productization is a challenge. Now, in your journey, if you are capable to distinguish in your unmet need if a solution is good enough, because you need to address the unmet need of your organization, there is no potential for a commercial product, then you are ready to go and to find either within your organization or external bodies like Tom, they're makers that are creating solutions that are personalized. You can find somebody that will create a solution, but be aware that you are dealing with a solution and not with a product. Don't think that you will be able to develop a product in-house. I don't believe in that. Again, what we do in our hospital, we have a unit that is addressing with individual unmet needs. This is an example of a child with arthrogryposis. He is a smart child, he's very talented, but he has limitation in his hand and his ability to move his hand is limited. What we did, we developed a feeding device. This is a feeding device that is used by that child. And that device allows him to eat independently. Now you will now challenge me with a question, why did you do that? Because there's off-the-shelf product, right? There are feeding devices in the market, and the answer to this question is we had to develop it because the products that are in the market are extremely expensive, and the family of this child could not afford a product that costs $7,000. For them, it was like for us, $1 million. It's unaffordable. So we went into a process of developing a solution to his specific ability, to his specific challenge. It will not work for almost any other child, but it is a perfect solution for him. So again, I urge you, once you understand if you need a solution or a product, if you need a solution, find solution. If you need to develop a product, don't mislead yourself to think that you can do it on your own. I honestly believe that the right structure doing it is design partnership. So you will be the expert that will co-develop product with a startup or with a company. Like, I don't mind if it's a mature company or a startup. You will come with understanding the unmet need, because that's what you know. That's what you are expert on. And the startup or the company will focus on the creation of the product, the productization, developing next generation, and so on and so forth. Again, in our hospital, we have a team that is focused on open innovation. Open innovation is working on innovation that is coming from the outside world, so it's not been developed by us. It's not innovation that was created by us. It was created by the outside world. And that team that is focused on open innovation is expert on partnership. They will be the bridge between the health organization and or between the clinicians, the health professionals, and the external technology company. Now, my experience when I joined Alin, and I told you that I'm coming with the technology background, my experience was very interesting. When a few weeks after I joined Alin, I sent a note to my CEO telling her that I met an amazing software company that I think that we should partner with them. Now, how do you write a software, like it's an SW, right? And so I sent a report. I met an amazing SW company, and I got a question from her. What do you do with social workers? Why it's interesting for you? And then I understood that there is such a huge gap between the vocabulary, between the culture, between everything that is within the health organization and the technology company. And you have to make sure that you assign someone that has the knowledge, that is aware of that gap to become the bridge. Without that bridge, it will be almost impossible. It will be two blind people that one is trying to lead the other. So again, when you do design partnership, remember it's not simple. It's not simple, especially if you deal with complicated case when you have the family involved, and it's always that the family is in a way involved with children. It's extreme. But in our case, we have family that are involved. We have educators that are involved. We have always clinicians that are involved. We have therapists that are involved. We have a lot of stakeholders on one hand. We have a lot of technologies that might be relevant in this type of structure of multiple design partnership. And what we do is we work hand in hand with the company along the entire process of the life cycle of a product, which starts with the definition of the product. In some cases, you start the partnership at the definition stage. It can be at the stage of validation. It can be at the stage of productization. It can be the go-to-market in commercialization. Each stage is important, and we are there. And I'm urging you to be there at all the stages. Now you'll tell me as a feedback, well, we are health professionals. We are not experts in commercialization. We're not experts in marketing. You will see that once you will be involved in the creation of the product, it will become your product. And once it becomes your product, then marketing becomes natural to you because you're protecting your outcome, because you're preaching to sharing it with your colleagues. So we give, or the structure that we build is a structure that gives to a company the ability to validate. We talked about it. We give them a clinical guidance. We give them the ability to manage research. We have accessibility to target population. And we have accessibility to our network. Our network is our peers, our colleagues, that we share the knowledge with them. We share it with other institutions abroad in Israel, with academia in Israel and abroad. And by that share of knowledge, we are technically promoting the product. But again, it's always after it to have been validated. Now, we build a structured process. We, meaning in our hospital, we build a structured process of how do we select which are the unmet needs that we will work with, which are the startups that we will partner with in order to address the unmet need. And the structure that we have built is not something that we have been invented in Aline. It comes from venture capitals companies. My experience, as I told you, my background comes from the high-tech industry. I work with venture capitalists. And VCs are looking usually at these aspects of the needed solution, the business, the team. We test the company that we decide before we decide to partner with. Even if it is addressing our unmet need, we will test them on these three domains or these three areas. We have a structured questionnaire that is part of the processes of the hospital to assess the the potential partner. And once we ranked and we gave the ranks to the startup, if it passes a threshold, then we decide to move ahead. And if it doesn't pass the threshold, we will not move ahead. And again, I think it's important that each one of health organization that is dealing with innovation and trying to partner with a startup or with a technical company will have that structure in mind, because in a way you are investing the time of the health organization in that startup. So you need to make sure that your investment is going to bring fruits to the health organization. What we also learned in our experience is that it's not enough to make sure that you have a structured process of selection. You have to have also a structured process of progress. And here that the natural progress of tech people is we created a POC. POC is like a proof of concept, or we have already an MVP. MVP is a minimum valuable product, and we want to jump immediately to a trade show to start to present our solution. Hey, no, if you are not ready to go through a process of a validation and a simulation, only then go to commercialization, we will not accept them to become our partners. So that flow is crucial. And in many cases, you see in that flow that you're going back. You started to create something, you think that you created an MVP, you started to validate that. Oh, no, the validation shows that you are not addressing the real pain. You go back, you create another MVP, you create another POC. You then validate it, you start with a simulation, and you see there is not enough attractiveness within the team. You see what is missing, and all that try and error. It's not a try and error, it's a set process. Is crucial in order to make sure that the product is successful and acceptable by the market. Now, in any case or every case that the company was not ready, was not accepting that process, and said, like, I have an MVP and let's help me with commercialization. Use your name. You, Aline, you have great name. We want to partner with you in order to use your name. You will recommend us and you will get some benefits out of that recommendation. And we already say no. No, we will always say no. Why? Because you cannot jump over stages. The flow is crucial and important. So as of today, meaning as of yesterday, because now we have another company, we are working with 17 startups that are developing. Startups, again, is a name that they use for technology companies overall, that are developing 18 products. Many of them are cutting edge technologies. Some of them are traditional technologies. Many of them are Israelis. Some of them are non-Israelis. We have companies from Canada, from the US. We have now 2 candidates that we evaluate, one from Austria and another one from India. So we have a funnel of companies that wants to join us, but we always follow the rules that I've tried to show you, because without having these rules, we will not be able to build a sustainable portfolio of solutions to unmet needs. And when I'm saying sustainable, I'm really proud to say that once I started my journey with building the strategy. That was my first thing to do. And the strategy kept almost intact for the last 5 years. During the 5 or 6 years that I'm in charge of innovation and of this project of open innovation and work partnership with startups and companies, we have signed agreements with 21 startups, 21 companies. 17 out of them are still active. So 20, it's like 60% of success or over 70% of success. That's number that is amazing. If you ask the Israel Innovation Authority, they will tell you that anything that is above 30 considered to be phenomenal. And again, 21, 17, 80% success, that's a very good number, which shows, to my understanding, the success of the method. That if you implement that method, you can get reliable and usable solutions that are addressing the unmet needs. Well, that's what I have. I want to open it to questions if you have. I'm open to questions. Anything that you want to ask, to share?
Leila?
I would like to ask a question. Thank you so much first for focusing on the unmet needs. I think we really needed to hear this. I don't think, as me personally, I don't have an experience with things like that. And this is my first time in this industry. So just would like to have to ask you a question. How do you identify the unneeds, especially when you are distinguishing between the pain points of the customer? Is it annoying them, or is it urgent that we have to build our strategy around? How does should the startup align at its early product so it can go to the market strategy and invest heavily on that? So
can you just let me clarify? When you're asking how do you focus on the unmet need, wherever it comes from, I have a structured way in order to identify if it is an unmet need or no. At the end of the day, when I talk to startups that we accepted to our program, and when I talk to our employees, you see that both sides are very happy with the process. Why they are happy with the process? Because they understand that what we have is we identified exactly the pain point. Now, how do you do that? You bring the inventors to talk to preach to the real people that are going to be in the field, to the clinicians, to the therapists, to the patients, to the families, to the ones that are going to have to have the benefits of the solution.
Making sense. It's connecting both sides. If it was
and you do that before you decide if you are moving ahead or not.
Okay, that makes so much sense. Perfect.
Because if you do that after, then you will find yourself wasting quite a lot of time until you found that you're going the wrong direction. And again, my philosophy is fall fast. If I need to fall, I want to fall the fastest possible.
Exactly.
I don't want to waste months and then to fall.
Yeah. So basically, you recognize it before even going into the development, investing, and all that.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Absolutely. And you invest a lot in this at that stage. So you feel in a way that, wow, why do I invest so much time in this? But after having the experience, you understand that you save so much time by having that method implemented and by that investment.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. You answered my question. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, first of all. Actually, I have a question, maybe because I didn't hear it well, but I would like to go back to the thing when you mentioned champion, and you said we need a champion in the process of our, let's say, innovation or project. And you mentioned that the champion should be one of the customers. As I understand, or I'm wrong, I thought it should be said that the champion should have the power and the fire in his bones to do things and to improve it. So am I wrong or right? So that's why I would like to clarify.
I'll tell you, the champion should be a key stakeholder in the process. It's not necessary like if your customer is not something monolithic in our solutions. Like in a health organization, the solution for health organization is very complicated to distinguish if the customer is the clinician or the patient. So, but both of them are your customers. You can't say this one is my customer and this one isn't my customer. Both of them are your customers. If you find a way to work directly with a patient, perfect. Usually it's complicated, but if you have the clinician or the therapist or someone from the medical team that is your champion, and when I'm saying is your champion, is the person that drives it and doesn't sleep at night because he wants so badly that to address that need, then you know that you have a champion. If you have someone that says, well, yeah, I'm interested, very nice, I like it, and you don't have a champion. And when you don't have a champion, don't start the process. Not because you will not be successful in development. You will be successful in development. You might not be successful in assimilation. And assimilation is the key, because if you go through the development process and you develop an amazing solution, but at the end of the day, you didn't go through a proper assimilation stage, it will stay in the closet, on the shelf, wherever you want to put it.
Mm-hmm.
It will not be in use.
I see. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Zafir. Any question? Yeah. Any question? Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciated. Thank you for today's sessions, and we'll meet Wednesday, inshallah.
Yeah, we'll meet Wednesday.
See you Wednesday.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Lydia, the next session, Lydia with us. Lydia, hi, Prof. Lydia. We can start directly if you want, or you need the 5 minutes break. Prof. Lydia, she is ready. I believe she will start 6 o'clock. أعتقد على 6. معناتها بنرجع على 6 بالضبط. هي موجودة معنا، كان عندها مشكلة تقنية بس هلا هي شغالة. سو على 6 إن شاء الله مرة ثانية.
إن شاء الله. يعطيكم العافية.
الله يسعد. 6 بالضبط رح تكون معنا. بيسار.
هلا بيك هلا. أفكر